So here we are, man. We're back. We're just literally back, and we're here with some Bundesliga action. Normally I don't talk much about the Bundesliga, right? But yeah, man, it's getting interesting, the Bundesliga, because right now, Bayer Leverkusen has actually struck a huge blow. In the Bundesliga title race, as they secured an emphatic victory over Bayern Munich, which has now sent them, 5 points clear. The Bundesliga, yes, is amongst one of the top five leagues in Europe, right? I agree. Alongside the French league, the Premier League in England, the La Liga, as well as Serie A, right? It's just that you don't actually pay a lot of attention to it because it's often dominated by one side, which is Bayern Munich over the years, and it actually makes you lose interest. It actually takes away the fascination. It makes you take away the anticipation for the league, because right now it's always been dominated by one side. But because this year fortunes have actually changed, and look, Bayer Leverkusen just recorded an emphatic victory over Bayern Munich. 3-0 the score was. You understand? Bayer Leverkusen won by 3-0 over Bayern Munich. So now Xabi Alonso's side, took the lead in the first half when Josip Stanisic, finished clinically at the back post. That's what actually set Bayer Leverkusen on cruise to actually securing this victory. And the Bay Arena, actually erupted again shortly after the break, when, Alex Grimaldo fired from a tight angle, and Jeremy Frimpong, put the gloss on the result in injury time when goalkeeper Manuel Neuer went up for a corner, and it was such an incredible game of football to actually watch, man. It really was, to be honest with you. It really was an incredible game of football to actually watch, because I remember the same incident, when I think about Manuel Neuer going up, right, for a corner kick. It reminds you of that 2018 World Cup encounter between South Korea and Germany, when the same incident happened, and then that's how South Korea managed to secure an incredible victory over the world champions Germany. So it's like the same. It takes you back to that time, right? And now currently second place Bayern Munich, the defending champions, have only won the past 11 Bundesliga titles, and they managed just a solitary shot on target as they were blown away. And Leverkusen's victory now means that they are now unbeaten in 31 matches in all competitions this season. They've won 27 games and they've only drawn 4. And Bayern Munich's Thomas Müller now, he has also mentioned the fact that, what they are missing is guts and some freedom to play. Yeah, I guess they are, because what I saw in this particular encounter is that Leverkusen were a team that was actually taking risks. They were looking for solutions, and they were playing incredible football, right? Playing from A to B, B to C, and nobody plays freely and takes risks like Bayer Leverkusen this season. So I agree with Thomas Müller on that one. And what's actually ironic to actually say is that, now it has given the Leverkusen supporters, the Leverkusen faithful, a reason to dream. Because remember, Bundesliga runners-up, they were Bundesliga runners-up in 1996-97 season. They were also runners-up the following season, 1998-1999 season, 1999, 2000 season, 2001, 2002 season, as well as the 2010-2011 season. And they've never won a German flight. They have got 0 German flight titles to their name. And, they've only led to a cruel moniker for the club in North Rhine, Westphalia, right? Never, what they're known as is Leverkusen in English, you understand? Or Weserkusen, second Kusen in a German, and a club seemingly destined, to always be the nearly men, because their last major domestic trophy was 31 years ago, the 1993 German Cup. Yet in such a pivotal encounter, there was no hint in that, history weighed on their shoulders, because the crowd might have been a fever pitch, but this was a victory delivered with ice cool precision and tactical acumen, rather than one surfed on a wave of emotion. Remember, the manner of their first 2 goals, underlined that as Alonso's 3-4-3 formation and buccaneering wingbacks, exploited Bayern Munich's vulnerabilities in the wide areas, and Bayer Leverkusen, the home side, they did capitalize on that fact, because you look at, Stanisic's late run into the box at the back post, went unchecked, and he was unable to get on the end of the Robert Andrich low cross to strike the ball high into the net, right? And, when Bayern Munich boss, Thomas Tuchel sanctioned, Stanisic's loan move to Leverkusen in August 2023, he probably did not have that outcome in mind. So, Thomas Tuchel, understand, I'm sure he was regretting. He was sitting there on the bench actually regretting that decision to actually loan him out because, wow, he showed him some flames at the Bay Arena. He showed him some flames because, equally, Grimaldo's rampaging, runs, from the wing back enabled him to exchange a 1-2 with Nathan Teller before beating Neuer at his near post. Frimpong added a third in injury time when he curled the ball into the, an empty net from out wide when Neuer had gone forward for a corner kick. Like I said, it's just like it reminds you of the South Korea versus Germany game. When the same thing happened, Neuer went up as Germany were trading by 1-0, and that's how South Korea managed to add the killer blow. And look, they won by 2-0. Same thing happened in this game at the Bay Arena, with Manuel Neuer pushing up front to actually get some consolation for Bayern Munich, but it was not meant to be, right? So as for the Verk self, right? They are now just one game short of equaling the unbeaten record set by a Bundesliga club when Bayern went 32 matches without losing under Hansi Flick, from 2019 to 2020. And no team has ever gone through an entire Bundesliga campaign unbeaten. Remember, Bayern lost just once in their title successes of 1986 and 1987, as well as 2012-2013. And indeed, Arsenal, AC Milan, Juventus are the only teams to go a whole season featuring a minimum of 34 games unbeaten in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, right? After this victory, Leverkusen fans will be given the right to actually dream of that being possible, because anything is actually possible in football. And let's speak on Harry Kane, because it was actually a quiet night for him. Remember, Harry Kane, he has scored 24 goals in 21 Bundesliga games for Bayern Munich this season. That's a record. So it was a quiet night for Harry Kane, as Bayern Munich were very flat. They were flat-footed. They fell very flat. And for the first time in 8 years, Bayern Munich, have only managed one shot on target in a Bundesliga match. This result was a bruise, to the ego of the team used to being top dogs as much as their points total. Because currently there's still a long way to go this season, and it is difficult to envisage, the 33-time Bundesliga winners throwing in the towel, just allowing Leverkusen, to canter home. However, a subdued performance, by the players of Bayern Munich, it will actually be a huge concern for the Bayern Munich manager, Thomas Tuchel, alongside the fact that now he was tactically outplayed by his former Bayern midfielder, right? And his Bayer Leverkusen counterpart, Xabi Alonso, who is actually pitted to actually be the replacement for Jurgen Klopp at Anfield next season. And it was also a quiet, display from Bayern Munich, top goal scorer, the Bundesliga top goal scorer this season, Harry Kane, with the England captain a peripheral, figure, for much of the match. And Kane had only 18 touches against Leverkusen, but no shots on target, no chances creating. And after leaving Tottenham in search of trophies, he will not want to finish, his first season in Germany without a winner's medal. Yeah. That is pretty much it, but we will see, man. We will actually see, because perhaps maybe Bayern can win the Champions League, because I also fancy them. I fancy them alongside Real Madrid, Inter Milan, as well as Manchester City winning their Champions League. But look, let me tell you something. What's actually interesting is that the fact that Bayern Munich had more of the possession, they had more of the possession, but they were outclassed, right? They were just outclassed. They were outclassed. I wouldn't say outplayed, but they were just outclassed. Because Bayer Leverkusen had, they had the better of the chances. They were more clinical in front of goal, right? Despite the fact that, Bayer Leverkusen, the home side, had less possession at the Bayer Arena, but they were able to be more clinical, and they outclassed their Bayern Munich counterparts. Wow, what an incredible game of football that was, to say the least. I mean, it's just so ironic to say, I don't know what to actually make of it. I don't know what to actually make of this clash, but, to say the least, I think Bayer Leverkusen really deserve it, right? Because they're the only team currently in Europe's top 5 leagues to actually be unbeaten, right? There's no team that has an unbeaten record so far than Bayer Leverkusen so far this season, because now they move 5 points ahead